Hello,
Hello, everybody. It's Viv and
it's Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Hi,
We have
lovely
some,
ladies and gents.
we have some exciting news that we want to share with you. And what we thought we would like to do is just read. We've both picked something quite pertinent to our life at the moment out of this phenomenal book. So we're going to do a little bit of a reading today just to give you a bit of idea as to what's in this book. We're going to maybe ask a couple of questions and then we're going to reveal our secret surprise. Da, da, da. Anything you want to add, Tiff?
No, I think you've covered it all. I'm just excited about sharing some of this wonderful book with you guys this evening. Well, this evening in Australia, or whatever time it is in your part of the world. So let's kick off, shall we?
Right. So I've chosen a couple of paragraphs out of the chapter on generosity and compliments because you may be aware that women can be quite competitive and there can be some real interesting energy that goes on between women if they're jealous or insecure or competing. So a lady functions from a place of generosity and is kind with her compliments. So I'm going to start here. So generosity is part of being a lady. You being a lady, when you are being present with other people, are interested in them and are willing to receive who they are. There's a great book entitled Marlene Dietrich, The Life, written by her daughter Maria Riva, Riva, reveals how Dietrich always complimented and supported the people around her. She took care of and bought presents for them. Consequently, when she asked for something of them, they would give it instantly because she had been generous and gracious. Generosity is a big part of being a lady, and it's something you have to learn and practice. So always being a lady means treating people in ways that show that you are grateful for what they're doing. Do that and they will want to do even more for you. So there was a part that I wanted to touch on just back here. So one class participant told us how she perceives the men who go to her gym. She said they look so unhappy. They've totally cut off their sexualness. Their energy is just blah. It makes me depressed. What else is possible? What she was really asking was, how do you make someone come alive? This is something you can do as a lady. Be an invitation to possibilities for others. Women don't know how to invite others to possibility, but ladies do. I suggested to the class participant that she say to a man at her gym, wow, your partner is lucky to have a man who looks like you. A lady recognizes that she is unique and that others want to be unique as well. She sees what's different about people, whether they are men or women, and she compliments them. What would it be like if you were willing to see you as the gift you truly are and the gift that you can be to others? My mother, who was always a lady, made men feel like they were strong and great, and she did it without an ounce of flirtation. She simply complimented people. I used to watch her do that, and I'd think, that's beautiful. How does she do that so naturally? I love that.
Yeah,
This
gorgeous.
whole concept of generosity, and for me, the generosity is also in the graciousness of receiving. So
And
just before we jump on, Tiff
yeah.
said, you look beautiful. I went, thank you. I said, and it's always so great to jump on here and see your smiling face. And she didn't even know the topic that I was going to talk about. So
No, and it's funny because my internet dropped a little bit when you said thank you, and I thought you just ignored my compliments, which is one of those things that I remember as a young lady, having regular conversations with one of my best friends at the time, and still a lovely friend of mine. I just don't get to see her much. Her name's Peter, and I remember having this conversation with her where we realized that we weren't very good at receiving compliments. So we talked about it, and we kind of made this agreement that we were going to help each other to start to receive compliments and not reject them. And I remember at the point, my mum walked into the kitchen when we were having this conversation, and she looked at us and she was like, wow, if I knew what you girls knew and what you're talking about when I was your age, my life would be a different place. It was very cool.
Yeah, and when two people get together and they truly desire to contribute to each other's world, when there is that kindness, when there is that caring, and there's that, you're interested in the other person. It's not all about me, and getting your needs met. There is this beautiful gifting and receiving that gets created, and it becomes what you can be together and what you can create together can become way, way more than if you're doing competition and it's my patch and these are my people and this is my partner, and it's such a contracted energy. And I think coming out of that place where you feel that you've really got to fight for what you want and compete against people, it's really tiring doing that. And it creates, like I say, that real tightness and contraction in your world. It doesn't create more.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the many wonderful and beautiful things about the Access Consciousness tools that you and I both are so grateful, I know, to have in our worlds. And I'm so grateful for you, Viv, as well, because you are one of those people, and there's many that I'm so grateful to be able to call my friends and work with on a daily basis, where we do have this sense of like adoring each other and wanting to compliment each other all the time, and also the willingness to receive those compliments and to know that about yourself as well.
Yeah.
Which was not always the case for, I don't think, any of us really, because often
yeah, you've hit a really good point there. If there's noise in the background, it's because it started to pour with rain on the roof.
Oh, I can hear it. It sounds lovely.
Receiving a compliment, like people, when you introduce the concept of receiving, they're like, what are you talking about? It's this foreign concept to people. And I say, well, if somebody gives you a compliment or even just buys you something simple like a coffee, do you receive it? And most people say, oh God, no, I feel really, oh God, I feel if somebody acknowledges me, if I look beautiful, I'm wearing a nice dress, or it's like, oh, they cringe. They don't know how to receive that compliment. So if you want to begin to expand your receiving, practice receiving somebody complimenting you, somebody opening a door for you, somebody smiling at you like a random stranger. And I know this might sound really trite in a way, in a really simplistic manner, but just be aware of where you do accidentally refuse to receive, and just be aware of it with no judgment, and go and just say thank you, and not to go, oh, well, this old thing, I bought this at an op shop for $5, or, we kind of, hot potato, oh, well, you look really beautiful too. It's like, be willing to just put your barriers down and be gracious enough to receive. It's such a gift to the other person. And that's generosity.
Yes, it is, isn't it? That the willingness to receive is a generosity that often is not, people don't really look at it. They look at the gift side, the gifting side of that as the generosity. But it's like, what if the receiving side of that is as much a generosity as the gifting side? So, because they're, they're not separate, are they?
No, they're not. And you've just pinged another thing for me too. It's like, if you have a gent in your world, if you have a gentleman or somebody that cares for you, it could be a work colleague or your brother or your lover or whoever. If they're a gent, they truly desire to contribute to your world. They desire to, keep you happy and do what they can to contribute to your world. And how often do you not receive that? I've got to do it on my own, or we have this point of view that I'm capable, or or we don't like to ask for help or assistance. So what if it's the opposite? Your willingness to receive allows them to contribute to your world. And if you receive that, that expands your world and also honors them and allows them to gift more to you. And there isn't this give and take. There isn't this, right, well, you owe me. I did this for you, so therefore that. And this can really trigger this whole give and take situation, rather than this generosity and honoring of the gifting and receiving. It's such a different place to function from. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because I'm gonna now read something from what I've chosen from the Lady book for you all. But it's funny because I'm gonna talk about the title in a second. But you were talking about that thing of which I know I've done as a female, as a woman. That thing of going, well, I don't need anything. I can do everything myself. And I'm still, as you know, Viv, we kind of help each other with this a bit because we're like, we are capable and we can kind of do everything. But it's that willingness to actually relax and receive and allow everything around you to contribute to you in a much, much bigger way. So what I've chosen to read for you guys is about needlessness, which is funny because we're kind of going, I don't need anything. But there's a big difference between I don't need anything, which is almost like a refusal and a rejection, and this possibility of the elegance of needlessness. So a lady doesn't need anything. She has what I call the elegance of needlessness. It's one of her key attributes. Most people function from the idea of need. I need to be loved. I need this person to be with me. I need this amount of money. I need to live in this place. I need the people I interact with to behave in a certain way. They think they can't be happy unless their needs are met. Needs are not real. They're invented realities. The needs you've invented get in the way of your happiness, your gratitude, and your joy. They get in the way of having fulfilling relationships. They interfere with your money flows. They hurt your body. Any place in your life where you have a need is a place where you're limiting yourself. So think about parenting. There are parents who don't have any particular need of their children. They let their kids go off and play with friends. They allow their kids to determine the course of their own lives. At the same time, they are totally there for them. Or consider those people in relationships who don't seem to have a need for their partner. Friends ask, how can you be okay when your partner goes off for a week and you don't get to talk to him or her? It's okay with that person because they know that when their partner chooses for himself or herself, it's going to create something greater for both of them. So when you function from needs, you're trying to manage, control, or direct everything and everyone based on the needs you've decided they have to fulfill for you. And women are really good at that thing of like trying to manage, control, and direct everything around them. But when you're without need, the people in your life can be whoever they are, however they are, and you can be whoever you are and however you are. In this reality, we're taught that need keeps us together. Actually, need drives us apart. What would it be like if you had no need of your partner? What if you didn't even need to have your partner in your life? If you didn't have the need for your partner to be a certain way, you would have gratitude for whatever your partner is able to provide. You would have gratitude for the gift your partner is in your life. You would have gratitude for the relationship you have. And if you recognize the place in which you can have anything and need nothing, which is key, I'm going to say it one more time. If you can recognize the place in which you can have anything and need nothing, the entire universe will be a gift to you. What would happen if you, as a lady, started doing everything you wish to do and claimed everything that is available to you? Ooh, that gave me goosebumps. Definitely lights up my world. That.
Yeah. And I know for me reading this book, it was just not from a place of judgment or wrongness or, oh my God, I'm not doing that, or I'm not doing that enough, or I failed here. This is an invitation for you to recognize how to make your life more ease-filled, to recognize, there's tools and questions and just awarenesses that are woven through this book. And this isn't just for ladies, it's for gents as well. For you to actually look at yourself and go, am I making my life really difficult? Because, what Gary's written on the front of this book is the lady being what always wins. And I know he writes everything from this place of putting people into a question. It's like, well, what do you mean I win? It's not that you have to compete and get your slice of the pie or fight. It's about being the energy, like Tiff was just saying, that willingness to receive, the willingness to make your life more beautiful. And I don't mean beautiful from the aesthetics, but everything in your life has this beautiful fluidity and this the elegance of needless means you can create what you desire, but it doesn't mean, like you said, Tiff, I can do it all on my own and I don't need a man, and they're going to take away my power, or they're going to try and control me. When you have a gent in your life and when you can be a lady and receive them, everything changes. You create something totally different, like you said, with your money flows, with your relationships, with your children, with your sex life. So it's not about looking at where you are and aren't being a lady. It's not about judging that. This is about an invitation for you to have an awareness as to how your life can be a whole lot more elegant, with a lot less struggle and force and fight, and you start to relax and receive.
Yeah, and just really a space of total ease, in knowing that, as you said, Viv, you can truly have and create and receive anything. And it's actually way, 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 way easier than most of us have been taught it has to be. So this book is such a gift, and what Viv and I would like to share with you, and what we'd like to reveal, the big reveal, is that next week we're going to have a 3-part book club and exploration on this book, The Lady by Gary Douglas. So it'll be over 3 sessions. The dates, Viv, it's the 7th, 9th and 11th.
9th and 11th, Australian Eastern Standard Time, so depending on where you are in the world. And we've tried to pick a time that it's crossing as many time zones as possible. So it works for Europe, it works for Australasia. Was there another?
It's good for Asia as well. America's not sure.
And they can still watch the replay because it's going to be recorded. And the other thing that we'd love to offer is, so how it's going to look is the first 45 minutes will be Tiff and I reading through the book. And then the second part, we're going to open it up for you to ask questions. If there's an area that you want to dive into a bit deeper, if you need some clarity around something. And we're also here to facilitate as well. So it's free. We'd love you to jump on board and be with us. Bring your friends. Men are welcome, women are welcome, ladies are welcome, gents are welcome. Everybody is welcome. So we're going to put the link to the landing page, I believe, with this in the thread once we've posted once we finish the StreamYard.
Yeah, we'll put it in the comments here of this live. And we'll also pop some graphic in the group as well that will have information. But if you're keen to jump in right now and register, there's a short link, which is the bit.ly link, which is https, etc., bit.ly/lady-book club. But we'll add the link in the comments below for you shortly.
And this is open to anybody. You don't have to have done any access. If you know somebody that this could be a contribution to, who doesn't want an easier life? I mean, I do. I didn't even know that an easier life could exist. I was taught to very much fight for everything I want and compete and be, the first and the best, rather than, oh my God, that made so much hard work for myself. And a lot of relationships went by the wayside because I didn't know how to receive the gift that they desire to contribute to me. So receiving is a massive part of being a lady. And like I say, we're not shown, we're not taught, we're not introduced, we're not invited to the gentleness. And it doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean you're incapable. It actually just creates so much more space for you to choose what you'd really like to do and be with your life.
And it's like Viv and I also get it. I remember when Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, started talking about receiving many, many years ago, when it was sort of the earlier days for Viv and I in being part of Access Consciousness. And it was almost like the scariest word that anyone could say. It was like, receiving, oh my God. So we get it. And, you know, we have tools and all sorts of magic to, you know, facilitate you through anything that's coming up. So we would highly recommend that you have a read of the book before the book club, if you can. If you can't, not a problem. We will be reading through it with you. And, you know, as Viv said, we're also there to facilitate you through and you know, have that question session at the end of each session too.
Yeah, and it will be on Zoom. So all you'll need is either a computer or a telephone. You know, if you're out walking your dog, you can still have your earphones in and be part of the call. And we will be sending the recordings out afterward for those that have registered, obviously. We won't be able to send out the book reading itself because that's a request of access that we don't send out the actual book reading, but we're very happy to send out the questions that people go into and the places that we explore on a much deeper level, because the beauty of this book is it gives you enough, it's like the ingredients of the recipe, and it gives you a little bit of an idea how to put the recipe together. Where Tiff and I would really love to go is just going into those areas and really fleshing it out, really getting into the nitty-gritty of the areas that most of us get stuck in our life, because they're often not spoken about. They're often, this is the candid conscious conversations, you know, often the areas that our life isn't working, it's because there isn't an environment where we can ask these questions. You know, we feel embarrassed, or it's been a taboo subject while you've been growing up, you know, sex, oh no, you can't talk about sex. Money, no, you can't talk about money. So, of course, they're the areas that most people get stuck in, because it's kind of like there's this weird energy around not being able to talk about it. Whereas I know, and I'll speak on behalf of Tiff, it's like those areas, if you're willing to ask a question, you're choosing to make changes and make your life easier and empower yourself so that these areas no longer have this yucky, stucky, you know, stranglehold on you. Because how many of you know there could be something greater if you only knew how?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great. So come and play if that appeals to you at all. And we look forward to having you. And we might pop on, you know, in the next couple of days and share a little more of the book for you, either together or individually, see how we go. But yeah, thanks for joining us. And for anyone who's watching now or later, we hope you enjoyed. And thank you.
Feel free to invite your friends to the Ladies Lounge Facebook page as well. We'd love to have more and more people join us on there and get this information out to the world so we can have happy people.
Yay, happy people.
Yay. Thank you so much, Tiff.
Thanks, Viv. Adore you.
Bye.